What's good, everybody? It's your boy, O'Shea Duke Jackson, back at it again with another episode of The Celebrity Junk. I want to have a conversation about Myron. And I know I've been roasting him and having some fun, dusting him off. But what you need to understand is what's happening with a lot of these guys in the red pill today, a lot of infighting in the groups. If you guys can remember, this is the same thing that happened with us in the Black Manosphere. Circa 2017, 2018, 2019, 2020. Many of us were fighting too, the same way. Beefing, people were talking about meeting up and doing whatever the case was to one another. It was really bad. And when I look back at that time, I had a few long-standing beefs. I'm just not proud of that. You know what I'm saying? I'm not proud of that moment. I'm not proud of that, but it's what happens when you become friends with people based on your displeasures. You know what I'm saying? Like, if we have a problem with Black America and we become friendly because we have a problem with Black America, well, we're just misery bonding. We don't really have a plan to do anything positive. So once, the enemy that we perceive as there is no longer there, we just start fighting each other. And this is what's happening with the Fresh and Fit. Feminists have not really taken them down because they took themselves down, right? And they have all of these wars with all of these people. A lot of the guys in the group, they talk about Black American, they talked about the Jews, they talk about the gays and all this stuff. And then what you now are seeing is that these guys are finding out that, wait a minute, we've met up and we've hung out and we've podcasted and we've done all these great things, but we don't really have as much in common as we thought that we did. Now, this was brilliantly pointed out by our brother Duke the Don.
Whole thing started to unfurl, okay? And some of y'all be like, yo, Duke, wait, hold up, time the f out. What are you talking about? What are you talking about, Duke? It's time up for who? It's over for who? What are you saying, right? Well, listen, okay, y'all gotta understand, okay? Because listen, if y'all been under a rock so far, okay, allow me to unrock you, okay? Pause. That sounded kind of weird, but still, allow me to bring you up to speed, okay? So essentially, y'all know Myron has been on this whole white supremacist, white is might type bullshit on Twitter. Y'all know what that is, right? Where he's sitting there caping for white supremacy. Now, here's the thing. What has brought on that behavior? I mean, a lot of people are guessing, but it's really not much of a guess. It's grifting. It's grifting, okay? Andrew Tate's following the same playbook. A lot of these guys are following the same playbook. It is what the is. It's just one giant grift for him, okay? So, but here's the thing. Okay, here's the thing. So Myron has been on this white supremacist meat grinding or meat glazing grift for a very long time, okay? And now it's starting to get to a point where it's running up against the people, that he, used to build a platform with. All right, chat. I mean, it's running up against those kind of folks. All right. So some of the guys who have been there since day one, some of them who happen to be Black.
And the guy who has called him out is a YouTuber by the name of The Saint in the Center, okay? And from what I know, and of course I do know about The Saint in the Center, but what I do know is that The Saint in the Center spent at least some time collaborating with Fresh and Fit. And I know he then subsequently started his own podcast at a certain point. He's not the kind of guy that strikes me, to be honest, as a person who's just somewhat of a fence rider, okay? He's a guy that if he just doesn't really like what you're doing or what you're saying, even if that means that you and him might not be friends anymore or cool anymore, he doesn't really, in my honest opinion, care so much about that, right? He's just gonna pretty much say what he has to say, and if you don't like it, well, that's just really what it is. And although he's not gonna call any names, here's what he's gonna talk about with some of this buffooning going on.
But I say that to say this: all of you guys praising these hateful white supremacists online, you are truly lost. And rather than praise them, you should shun them. Not because we need to fear racism, but rather because these are persons who are spreading stupidity and hatred, and it is counterproductive. And there's a number of persons who hate themselves because they themselves have no identity. I don't need to name them. You know who they are on YouTube. They're not even white. Even the white supremacists aren't even white. There's three YouTubers I can think of right now who use the hard R. They're not even pure white. It's comical. But you have others who even less so are white, but they platform white supremacists and they give them voice. And this too is dangerous. And that is why I tell all of you, 3 sentence Bible. Number 1, be yourself. If you're white, be white. If you're black, be black. If you're mixed race, be.
He almost slipped up. If you're black, be white.
Again, he's talking about these guys using the hard ERs. He's talking about these guys basically, if you want to say it, selling out or buffooning. And, let me talk about this as a content creator, right? As a content creator, you can sit by and let some of your allies do questionable things because you're cool with them. You don't really want to even call them out or even say anything like that. You just kind of, all right, look, man, let me just, okay, I'm not going to say nothing. But once you've collaborated with them, and what it looks like to certain people, not everybody, is that, okay, well, you have collaborated with them, a few times, therefore you must agree with what they're talking about. So, they kind of forced the guy's hand to where he has to come out and say, not necessarily their name, but damn near everything but their name. Like, we obviously know who he's talking about. And that's bad because, Saint the Sinner, he's not necessarily the most nicest person with black commentary himself. So if he got to come out there and say it, albeit he's nowhere near where Myron is at all, right? He's nowhere near that. You know what I'm saying? But Myron is just every day on Twitter, in racist groups, like with people who just don't like him. Him and Tommy, like they are so extreme. It's okay, let's say, for example, if you have an extreme thought about the black community, let's say if it's somebody like Farrakhan or King or whatever the case is, and it's just like one statement and people just don't really like it, fine. But when it's every day on, everything is clippable every single day, all the time, it's like, come on, bro. Like, when do you stop? At what point do you stop? At what point do you even, you're embarrassing yourself to the point where those people don't even care about you. Like, they don't even respect you. And this is what I've noticed. Like, people, have criticized me. They say, O'Shea, why don't you go into like the mainstream red pill? I remember one time Brother Alpha Male Strategies had called and he had told me, listen, man, your content is getting better, but you're missing an opportunity by just staying over in the black sector. You can get a larger fan base and, of course you're still black and, your community is still gonna rock with you. But, I think that what you have to say can help all men. So, you should, spread your content strategy out, and just get a variety of more of an audience that you can do that. I just wasn't interested in doing that. You know what I'm saying? And what he was saying made a lot of sense, but I'm okay where I'm at. And the problem with Myron with them was they always wanted to be not only the money, but to be accepted. And then when you're booty clapping like that, you never get accepted because nobody can respect something like that. You cannot be respected acting a fool like that. And then now the other guys gotta call him out, even Sneeko. And Sneeko be having some things to say about the black community. But even he was like, damn, Myron, you're out here booty clapping like a lot, too much. Like, can you please stop? So guys, what do you think? It's your boy, O'Shea Duke Jackson, back at it again with another episode of The Celebrity Junk. I appreciate you for all that you do. Subscribe to the bell. We're out.